You must know what to do with your shoulders in the golf swing, or great disaster will fall upon you, unfortunately. Here is what happens when you have proper shoulder movement in the golf swing. I felt pretty good. Look at this. My club path is great. My face angle is great. 13-foot little draw on that bad boy. That is great. I'll take that every time. Now, here is what happens when you have improper shoulder movement in your golf swing. Whoops. Look at that club path, 3.4 degrees. Too much. Face is closed, no good. 53 feet left. Draw, that's how much draw. I went far, but far in the bushes is no good. So let me show you the difference between those two swings on video and what we can do to fix you so you have the right movement at the right time. So coming into V1 golf here, what we have on the left side here, we have correct shoulder movement, and on the right we have no good here. So let's look at these two things. We'll draw a swing plane line on both of them. On the good one, we see as we take it back, that club head is right on that line. Ideally, I want it a little above the line, but it's not bad there. Now, incorrect shoulder movement on the right, in the same position. Look where that club head is, right there. Look how far inside the line that club head is. No good there. And then when we get up top, look at the difference. Look how far to the right that club points versus the one on the left, the good one. It's much straighter here down the line. So then when we come down, we're in a better position here, whereas on the right, on no good, look how steep this club gets right there. Versus here, we're able to get it a little flatter. I mean, it's close, but there's a big difference there. When we return, the club head is still way behind us, and here it's much more on the line on the left side. That's a good one. And on the right, that's a flip, and that's a big pull hook on the right, whereas on the left, straight ball, touch draw. That's the difference. And it's all in the beginning, right in this position here. That's the big problem area that we must fix. So now I'm gonna show you how to get the proper shoulder rotation every single time so you can hit the shots you're looking for. So for starters, do we want shoulder rotation? Of course we do. Do we want hip rotation? Of course we do. But if we do them in the wrong sequence, you see what happens, big problems. So what we want to do to start our swing is this. We do not want to start our swings turning our hips. When we turn our hips first, what happens is that club can stay low and get way inside. We cannot turn our hips and shoulders first. As a matter of fact, we do not want to turn our shoulders at all. Sounds weird, but it's true. But let's first start with our hip motion. When we set up, some of you might have a little trigger. That's fine. Keep what you got. But the first start of our backswing after whatever you do is going to be all arms going straight back. I want to keep my hips and legs and knees very quiet, meaning I don't want to do this to start my swing, because this allows my hands to whip way inside. That's no good. And here's what I want to start off with, is just taking it back, not moving lower body at all. I just want that. Just these little swings right there, no lower body. Short little guys. You don't need to do that many to feel it. And if you need something to help you keep that quiet, get my favorite training aid, a little dodgeball or that basket of range balls, that basket, and squeeze it right between your knees. Keep the lower body as quiet as possible here. Arms only. Get that feeling. Now, are we going to add hip motion to your swing? Yes, we want the power of the hips, but we've got to get it at the right time. and the first part of your backswing is not. After you get used to all of that, now here's what I want. You're gonna take that club back with your hands, going straight back like so. No body rotation. Once your hands get the shoulder height, don't turn the hips. I like to say, release the hips. Just let them free. And what that looks like is this, shoulders, hands high. In order to crank my hips this way, right, you have to create a little motion, a little release is what it is. So your hands are here, and now your hips are just gonna release, and the release, they'll immediately go back first, and then fire through. The reason they're gonna release backwards is the same reason when you're gonna jump in the air. You go down first and then jump up. The hips are doing the exact same thing. When they wanna go that way, they're first gonna get a little hit going back and then forward, and that's what we're looking for in the golf swing. And that will cure your hip issue, which is connected to the shoulders, which we'll get to in just a sec. So that's the drill for now. Once shoulders get hands high, just release it. And you're gonna look like Rory McIlroy all of a sudden with your hip motion. Hands, shoulder height, release. That feels really good. And then your distance will start coming back. So what about the shoulder turn? So many people are really trying to crank the shoulders back a ton back here. Here's what happens when you do that. Most of the time, it's gonna be connected to those hips. So they're cranking the hips and the shoulders. And then what that produces, you'll start leaning into the shot like this because everything's too behind you. You'll get too steep and then you'll have to back out of it. If you're trying to crank the shoulder so much, it's gonna force the hips to do what we're trying to not make them do. So here's what I like to do with my shoulder turn is this. When you start moving your hands back, notice, did my shoulders turn? Yes, they did. I didn't even try to turn them. What happens is what we do that and then we add shoulder turn and it gets us out of position, out of spine angle. So we want to practice really not turning our shoulders at all. So now I'm going to try to swing just like I did, and I want to try to keep my shoulders right here. I don't want this to get way back here. It will, but don't try to get it there. Now, one of the things people do is they lift their hands like this. If you lift your hands like this, you won't turn at all. That's a non-shoulder turning swing. So, this drill is gonna get us to turn without turning. Now that you got your hips set and your hands are driving everything, here's how you're gonna turn without turning. I'm going to try to keep my center of my chest pointed at the ball the entire time. Wow, at the same time, I'm just pushing my hands back as far as they go. So I want my hands to get as far away from me as possible while the center of my chest stays pointed at the ball the whole time. Here we go. All I'm focused on is pushing my hands, center of the chest at the ball. Do that drill like 100 times. You could do it at home, anywhere you want. That's the drill that's gonna bring it all together. Pushing and all I'm focused, that little sternum area right there. You will be more centered doing that than any other area of your life. See, we've been told for so long to turn, get everything turning. We've overdone it. We've gone too far. We need to dial it back a little bit. So instead of thinking turn as much as possible, think don't turn at all. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. See you next time.